welcome to a cuppa with So Timeless with me, Rowena. If you haven't already, go and grab a cuppa and come and join me for a chat. So, welcome back after the vlog last week. Still waiting to see how that's going, how it'll be received. It was my first attempt at doing a proper vlog with not really the ones where there's no speaking in it at all, which was very different for me and to what I normally do, because as you know, normally I'm chatting away in the background. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. But for this week I'm back chatting again, and what I've done today is I spent a bit of time this morning going through where I am with everything. I've kind of lost track of where I am with certain series and things and what I'm doing at the moment, because the last few weeks I've been rather busy with all sorts of things, and my health hasn't been the best. I've spoken in a previous video about my endometriosis, and it's really been giving me a lot of trouble the last couple of weeks. So in particular, the last few days, I've really been struggling. So if I'm looking a little bit tired, it's because I am a little bit tired, not been sleeping great. Today, I've taken quite a lot of extra painkillers to try and get on top of the pain so that hopefully I sleep better tonight and can start getting more on track with things. I did speak before about using sewing as a way and means of overcoming some of my symptoms with my endometriosis, especially with the pain, using something relaxing like the sewing. Unfortunately, I just haven't had the time to do the sewing, and so that is something I'm looking at trying to improve over the next few weeks, and hopefully it'll help me start getting things more on track with my endometriosis pain as well. But what I was doing is having a little look at where I'm at, and I've started myself a new little notebook, and done some notes today of where I'm at with each thing so that I can keep a better track of what I'm doing and what I'm showing you each week. So one of the series I'm doing at the moment is, of course, the pattern review, and that is for this pattern, Butterick 6055. I've already done 2 parts to this pattern review. If you haven't seen them, they are uploaded and available to watch. I'm not very good with a lot of things on YouTube yet, but what I'll try and do is link the 2 videos down below for you. What I have done with them, they're in a playlist called Reviews, so if you're looking for them. In the process, I've done all the pattern part of it and reviewing all the pattern basics of it, and this is the fabric that I had chosen to do the pattern on. So the next step is going to be the cutting out and the making of the dress, so that will be coming your way very soon. So that was one thing on my list. Another thing I have spoken about in a previous video and shown little bits about is I was starting to work more on getting my own wardrobe a bit more vintage, with a few more vintage pieces. And the first thing I was working on is making this blouse for myself, the short sleeve version. There's a few different versions there. I've made the short sleeve version before in the red with white spots, exactly as it is on that pattern piece, and absolutely love the blouse in that fabric. I don't have any more of that fabric at the moment. I may try and get it for myself, although I'm not usually one to wear red, but I may well do that. But I've got this fabric, which is what I'm looking at doing a version of it for myself in. So that's something that's coming up soon. I've been working on reducing the pattern size, because this is one of those vintage patterns that you buy that comes in one size only. In vintage times, in the 40s and 50s, I think even the 60s not so much, started changing, but certainly the 40s and 50s patterns were one size only, and this one is a size bust 42, which came out at somewhere around about a size 16 to 18 UK size for nowadays. So I'm working on doing the other sizes. I'm working my way down, sizing down. I need somewhere between a 12 and 14 for myself. It varies depending on fabric, depending on design. I think for this pattern, maybe more towards the 12 than the 14, but I will see once I've cut the pattern pieces out and done the measurements. But I'm very much looking forward. This fabric I bought for myself with the idea of making my first proper full-on vintage piece for my wardrobe, and I'm really looking forward to getting that done and sorted, and I will be sharing that with you as I go along. So that's the the one for myself is not really a series as such. I think I've more just spoken about it before, but certainly the pattern review is a series, and there's 2 parts to that already out there available to watch. As I said, I'll try and link them down below. Be a good experiment to see if I can actually do it. And then the other series that I was doing is, and that I started working on, is the mini challenge. My idea is that I'd like to do some challenges where you choose an outfit or a garment from a particular person, a particular time, and replicate it as closely as possible. And I had chosen the Mrs. Maisel dress, the little black dress that she wore in one of the episodes. I think it was in series 1, if I remember correctly. I did post a picture of it on the video about the mini challenge, and I'm doing it in green. I'm not doing it in black, but I had got in this green, I had got the pattern was very similar to the dress she wore. And I've been dying to do this pattern, and it comes with a shirt that you wear underneath. So I'm going to be making both, but I certainly want to get the dress part at least made fairly soon so I can finish off that series, and then that series of videos will be done. I'm not sure it's actually a full series. It's more I've spoken about it in other videos, and then I've got some shorts where I've done cutting out and bits and pieces, but I'll be putting it all together in one video with the final product made, hopefully very soon. Then I've got some other bits here that I've got cut out ready to sew. I've got this absolutely gorgeous satin in this aqua turquoise sort of fabric, which is so beautiful. And this, I did a short on just cutting out the facing of this top, and it's a very simple plain summer top. I've made it before in different fabrics, but I'm doing it in the satin to make it more dressy. And I'm really looking forward to how that comes out. I'm looking forward to making that sometime very soon as well. I've got it all cut out, ready to go. As you can see here, this is how I label, because I tend to cut out quite a fair amount of stuff and keep it waiting to be sewn. I label it with a little piece of paper, and I'll write on the pattern number that I've used for, which is the pattern I'm following. If there's different views and different styles, I've written down which view it is, so I know which one I've cut out, and then the size that I've cut out as well. Because I sew different sizes and different things, it's very easy to lose track of what size was I going for, what was I actually doing with this. And especially now with doing these different series and that as well, I've started to try and be a lot more organized with these these pieces when I cut them out. And then this is a red blouse which I cut out some time ago and haven't got around to sewing. But the big thing with this particular pattern, this fabric is, I actually can't remember what type of fabric it is, but it is super ultra soft and flimsy fabric. And that's kind of what put me off for a while doing it, because I haven't really looked forward to working with it very much. So my idea is to do a video on using starch to firm up the fabric and the seams when sewing it to see how well that works. And I'm going to do a video with experimenting with the use of starch while sewing and let you know how that goes, how to do it, what works, what doesn't. That's the plan anyway. So I've got all those written down here, the plan for all the next lot of videos, which I've just been through with you. I've also got down that my plans for what I would like to do next, and I would like to plan some more pattern reviews. I've got a few more patterns which I'd like to go use and do reviews on them as I go along, which I thought is a good idea and a good way of showing what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and giving some advice and insight into the patterns as I go along, which might be useful and helpful to some people. And then I've got the new type of dress, which is kind of related in a way to the vintage sewing in that it's difficult to explain without giving away. It's a whole new area that I'm planning to do sewing in and make garments in, and I'm hoping to be able to start that within the next few months. I've got fabric, I've started collecting up patterns, and I'll start looking at making the first 1 or 2 garments very soon. And then I'll be working towards the next lot of challenges. So I'll finish the Mrs. Nasal one very soon, and then I will start thinking about, I've got a list of 1940s and 1950s fashion icons. I've started posting a bit of pictures. My English is terrible today, I do apologize. I've started posting a few shorts with some of the pictures of 1940s and 1950s icons now and again, because the idea is to build up to the challenge that I'm going to do. I have another Mrs. Nasal challenge I'd really like to do. There's a garment that I found that she wore in one of the later series, which I absolutely love. It's a summer outfit, so I might try and tie it in if my timing works out with summer. And it's just so cute and gorgeous, and I really want to try and replicate it. But I also want to start thinking about doing some other challenges and some more challenges of real people with garments that were worn in real life rather than in a show. And then I've playing around with, as you know, in previous videos, I've done bits and pieces about history, bits of history about fabric, bits of history about appliances, about various things. I've still got my vintage sewing machine hiding back there, which I want to bring out and work on one day and show you in more detail and see how well it works together with you. I thought I would do that with you. Why not share it? And yeah, so I'm thinking around other bits and pieces with history and other ideas I might be able to use to share with you to make things and keep things interesting. But for the moment, that is it. That is all I've got for today. I've got my plan. I've shared my plan with you for the foreseeable future. I am really, really looking forward to sewing with this fabric, and I do think it is, I love wearing blue. Blue and green are my favorite colors, and I saw this fabric and I just fell in love with it. And this particular blue is specifically a vintage blue color that was very much used in the 1950s. It was a very big color in the 1950s. So when I saw it, I had to have it. And I just like the design of the fabric as well, and thought it would work well for what I had in mind with the blouse. So I will move on, I will keep going, and I will keep you updated with what I am doing as I am doing it. It has been so lovely seeing you again, and thank you so much for those of you who have already subscribed. If you haven't, please do hit the subscribe button below and subscribe to me and to my channel. I really do appreciate each and every one of you, and it just keeps me going and doing more when I know that it is of interest to someone out there. Have a really lovely evening and a good rest of the week, and I will speak to you soon. Bye bye.